Hello and welcome to the morning vibe session of Career Counseling Online. This is Sanjay here, hoping that you're doing great, staying home, staying safe, and taking care of yourself. Well, today we are going to talk about the importance of training and a bit of an advice to the new trainees who joins any organization. Because I'm sure after this COVID-19 pandemic and even during this, a lot of people are getting recruited for new designations, new positions with new departments and new responsibilities. Well, congratulations to all of them, but also along with that, a bit of an advice. See, the training period, over my working experience, I've understood, is the most crucial and the only time to get into the vibe of the organization, to get into the flow of the organization and know what the organization is all about. This is the only time when you get a lot of scope to learn, to ask a lot of questions, to clear all your doubts and to get all those kind of information which is going to add value or help you in the coming days to deliver your work. See, with the foreign, of late we see a lot of business management school and institutions are there, and every year so many graduates, so many students are coming out of these business schools, and with the foreign direct investment happening in India, there is a lot of scope for these B school grads or these students for filling up the managerial position, for filling up the management positions and so on. Once they have joined, see, I have during my course of work, I have found that many a times these grads, not all but many, do carry along with them an attitude of I know it all, just because they belong or they have come out from a very big business school or business organization. Now you need to understand one thing. As a B grade, a student of the business management, you have learned the theory part very good. When you are a B grade school student, you are a graduate from a business management school, you have learned it all. That's true, but you need to understand you have learned it all theoretically. And there is a huge difference in between what we learn theoretically and when it comes to applying those in our daily course of action, in our daily work. So it becomes very difficult. Thanks a lot for the support. Thanks a lot for the support, viewers. I appreciate. See, it becomes a lot important for people to understand what has been learned in a book is completely different from what is going to be applied in the real life. Because in the real life, the scenario changes. You have to work with different people, different team, different group, different management, and the situations which will be in front of you. When you are in a business school, you are learning about scenarios, you are learning about what best can be done. But the main thing is, when it comes to applying those theories in the real life, it becomes very difficult because you need to understand. When you were studying those theory, there was not any challenge which is real time, which was impacting the business revenue, which was impacting the team, which was impacting the organization as a whole. And when these things comes in front of you, whatever has been learned in a bookish way or a theoretical way yields much less results, because the pressure on you psychologically is much more. When you were learning these theories in a classroom, you were a student, but when you are here and when your contribution matters, like your decision going wrong might impact the revenue generation of a organization and so on, it literally is very, very difficult for you to remain calm and take a decision remembering what you have learned from the books. So the first thing I always recommend to the new trainees or anybody joining any new department is take advantage of the training period. Ask as much of as questions you can. Get all your doubts clear and get in tune with the organization. You cannot have that I know it all attitude when you are joining just because you come from a very big institution or very big business school or your past employer where the market competitors, market, major market holders, and so on. You need to understand every organization works in a different way. Every organization has different scope of activity. Every organization has its own limitation and area of expansion. So how you fit into one organization does not suit or fit into other organization. So the main thing is when you join as a team, it is for you to tune up mentally. The first thing as a trainee I would always recommend when you are joining this new department, new organization, or a new position, please take time to understand the training modules, the training structure, the training procedures, and everything, because a person who is a good student can only become a good teacher. You need to understand that. So if you have a vision to lead this same department which we are joining today, you need to take advantage of every learning scope that is in front of you. That is going to help you in the longer run of course, wherein it will be your role to guide others. And now if you do not know the procedure, the product, the client communication skills and every other thing which is associated with the project, well, to guide somebody would be very, very difficult. And unless you can guide somebody to the right direction and towards the growth, you literally cannot grow as a leader. So the first thing the trainee has to do is when they join an organization or a department or take over to a new position is tune in mentally. You need to understand what you have learned, what you have gathered. The information from the B school are all theoretical, and the practical aspects differs a huge way. So when you understand that gap, you tune in better, you are open towards learning, and through learning you start evolving. A lot of change happens in your understanding, the way you see things, the way you perceive a situation, and the way you analyze it to give your a point of execution or the kind of contributions that you have to do. That's the first point. Second thing is you need to have to go with the flow, because see, as I always mention, see, even if you are within the same organization, one department works in a different way with different tools, with different parameters, with a different process than the other one. Like if you are working with a software company wherein you were initially into development of the software, the kind of parameters, the kind of process, the kind of tools development team uses, if you join the R&D team, it will be completely different. Or let's say you take a turn in understanding the business development model, or you want to grow in the business development way, because now that you know the product in and out, you believe that you can contribute better as a business developer. But the thing is, you need to understand the kind of CRM, the kind of tool, the kind of parameter which is being followed by a development team, the kind of process which is followed by the development team is not going to be the same as the business development team, which is more customer centric, which is more external operation centric, and development is more internal operation centric, wherein you are developing a product, wherein you are doing a trial and error, wherein you are doing a dry run, wherein you are testing the software again and again. So you get a scope to amend, to edit any kind of errors. But let's say you take up a role of a business development head, and something goes wrong while during a seminar or while explaining a product, and the client is not happy. The immediate impact is you losing business. What you mean by you is the organization losing business, and that is not something that will be taken very lightly by the organization management board. So as a trainee, whichever position you're joining, whichever business school you're coming from, first thing is you need to tune up with what's happening within this organization. You need to tune up with the mentality of the other team members, your team leaders, your directors, so that your thought process is in alignment to the organization and thought process. Second thing that you have to do is you have to go with the flow. Go with the flow means that you understand the process of the department that you're joining, the process of the product that you're going to take over, or the kind of parameters which is involved. So going with the flow means, understanding the internal nitty-gritty of the project wherein your contribution matters, and that's the reason you are being recruited. Also, we would say that the best way, I have seen, because see, when I was in HP, I remember my training days also. We never had this term called training sessions. We had this budding period, wherein we were all assigned to one senior or one supervisor on the field who's already working on escalations, right? So I might be joining in the same position, but the thing is, you need to understand, by the time I'm joining, this guy is working on escalations at least a year ago or 2 years or more than that. So when I'm budding with this, I remember my buddy was Anand, and he was a very silent guy, very very calm and quiet guy, and he was somebody who was seen taking the maximum escalations because he had that calm composure, the way he handled the calls, the way he handled the emails, the way he took notes, the way he spoke to the customer. See, I was attached as a buddy to him. Like anywhere, anything that he's doing related to the work, I am supposed to observe, just observe. I mean, that is nothing called training, because we had a separate training for the technical round, we had a separate training for the voice and accent, we had a separate training for understanding the cultural aspects of different countries. Like we were assigned the South America and CST, PST and MST, and America being a diverse country with diverse culture and so on. It's very important to understand the diverse culture, to understand the kind of understanding and the mental status of the clients from that particular area, and tuning yourself according to that person to give the better service. So that is the kind of more customized service to the clients. So I was constantly following Anand, and I was looking into how he took note, how he spoke to the customer, how he smiled, how he greeted the customer, and so on. Yes, these are all things which were given, taught during training. But when I found him doing it in the real life, and he getting CSATs, that is the customer satisfaction score, pretty high. He was the highest scorer on the floor. I mean, that motivated me. Like, if I learn to do things the way he's doing, I mean, my job would be pretty easy as a new trainee or as a new member in the team, and I'll be able to contribute the same way Anand is doing it. And so I learned a lot. I mean, it was like a 21 days budding period wherein I learned a lot. And it so happened that when I joined the task force, the escalation team, like anytime something was not going during the call or during the escalation handling, something was not going the way it was supposed to. I used to draw a reference from how Anand would have handled it, and many a times I found success. And instead of getting a DSAT or a customer dissatisfaction score, I used to score CSATs, and that is how I have learned a lot. So working with a supervisor is very important. You need to understand, you might be more educated, or you might have more work experience than somebody to whom you have to report. But the thing is, never ask this question as to why I have to report to him. You need to understand that whatever you have learned in your training, or in your school, or in your college, or the B school, or the technical schools, this is a guy who has been working with this organization and putting up a lot of effort, right? He has been working a lot, he has learned a lot, and he has learned through working with the live customers or the live clients. So the kind of experience that he has much more valued than the bookish knowledge or the training that we have received. So working with a supervisor, hand in hand, tuning up with the supervisor, trying to understand how he's doing things and asking for suggestion makes life much easier, guys. I mean, I would say it makes life much easier in terms like, see, these are the scenarios which are new to you, escalations which are new to you, but these are the scenarios which has been handled by your supervisor for a quite long time, right? And that's the reason he's the supervisor on the floor, he's the supervisor of the department. So asking the right question to a supervisor not only builds up a relation of trust, but it also makes him feel being considered into the learning process, and he feels much contributive, because everybody who has learned something feels an urge to share it with somebody to help that person. So when you ask the right question to the supervisor or the person you're reporting to, not only the person opens up, not only the person feels happy about it, but the person also takes extra initiative in teaching the nitty-gritty or the internal tips and tricks of the business, as we call, to make your life much easier. Anand taught me a lot. I mean, like how to take notes, how to update the CRM while the customer is giving the feedback and so on, how to multitask and so on. So those things literally helped me, because otherwise, going live, on the escalation desk, there are chances, there are probabilities that you will score a lot of disads, because you don't know how you're going to work with that customer. You don't know how to keep a track of the AHT, average handling time, back of the mind, and how to put the customer at an ease and so on. Because when the customer is at ease, he or she opens up, and it becomes much easier to work with them, instead of being very rigid, like, okay, I am the support person or I'm the escalation manager, and tell me, I am going to handle it. But the thing is, that doesn't work. When you make the customer feel confident and comfortable, they open up and they give you space for working on their escalation. Apart from that, it will be just one like a complaint from the customer, and you trying to work on that. That doesn't work very well. Yes, it works sometimes, but on the long run it does not work. Now again, with that, I would say, like, many a times I have seen that when we are in the training session, when a task is being assigned, I have seen, in the later part of my career, that when a task is being assigned to a trainee, the trainee takes it very lightly. The trainee takes it like, oh, I'm not in this team, I'm not being recruited for such a kind of small or mediocre job. I am here to do wonderful big tasks and big works. So those things are fine. I mean, those things are absolutely fine, but the thing is, that does not let you grow. No work is small or no work is mediocre. Whatever work is being assigned to you as a trainee, the main thing is how good you complete it, how good you finish it within the time expected, and how good you are in putting your creativity or your input in getting that job done in a better way. How better you can do it, that is what is it, right? It's not like, okay, this is not my type of job, or this I wouldn't be doing, because you might not know. That might teach you something which you will require in the due course of your service with the organization. And third and most important thing is, whatever assignment is being assigned to you as a trainee, you need to do it with a very positive attitude, with a very I can do it kind of attitude, with a zest, with a positive feel that whatever I'm doing here, whatever I'm being asked to do, is because of good of me, is because I'm going to learn a lot, is because this can contribute in the longer run of my stay with this organization. So whenever your supervisor is assigning any assignment, please do not judge it. Please do it with full confidence and with your full zest. You should be happy that you have been given an assignment, you have been given a task, and complete it within the time and in the best way you can do it, so that even when the same task is being assigned to 10, your work stands out. And that is how you come closer to to the supervisor, to the director, as a resourceful person, as a contributive person, as somebody who is trying to do the same thing in a different way, in within time, and with extra zest. Everybody likes the energy around. So when your supervisor sees that, no matter even if it's a small work, you are filled with an energy. Like, let's say, you join this team as an engineer, and while you're leaving for having the coffee, your manager says like, hey, are you going for the cup of coffee? So could you get this reports copied, please? Now you might take it personally, like, okay, I am an engineer. Why the hell is my manager asking me to do a photocopy of these reports? He could have easily called up, the office boy and got these things done, or he could have easily gone and done it because it's his job. You need to understand, he might be busy in a call. He's asking for a help, right? He didn't instruct you or he didn't order you. He's just asking for a help. There is no reason to take it personally as to, okay, I am not meant for making copies of your bloody report. Nothing like that. When you show, like, yeah, why not? Anyway, I'm going for a cup of coffee. Let me get a cup of coffee for you, and I'll get this on the way back. I'll get this photocopied. Is that fine with you? And by the way, by when do you need these reports? So the thing is, not only you show positivity, not only you show energy, also asking about by when he requires it. You set a time frame for yourself, or might be he's actually planning to go for a meeting with those reports, and you might get a bit delayed with that cup of coffee, talking to your other team members and so on. But the thing is, when you ask for the time frame and when he gives that, see, you set up a mind frame within this manager or the director or the head, that see, this guy not only showed energy, but at the same time he wanted to know by when I need it, because he values my time, right? So, and he's also very target oriented. He's setting up a small deadline, or a target for him by when he has to come back to me with that report. So that shows a lot of respect on your part, about understanding his time, about understanding the urgency, and about taking the things positively. Not only that, it also opens up your scope to learn a lot from this, because trust me, the tips and tricks that your supervisor or the director has learned by staying in this organization over these years, you have not learned it in the B school. Let me give you an example of my friend. My friend has financial institutions wherein he works with financial reports of organizations. Now, it so happened that my friend's father, hired a CA and a CS. Okay. Now, this guy had a bit kind of attitude problem, in the sense, like, see, my friend's father is not as educated as even my friend. My friend is a CA. He's just a school pass out, right? But over this 45 years, he has built up this empire of business. He has diversified his business, and he has multiplied the number of employees and the revenue and everything. Now this CA, many a times, was feeling comfortable working with my friend who was already a CA, and reporting to my friend was not a problem to this particular professional, to this particular CA. But then whenever he spoke to my friend's father, he had this kind of disrespect, as to, like, even if I explain you something, you wouldn't understand. This is very financial as per the analytical report and so on. And my friend's father, who's obviously, when you are in business for such a long time, and when you are elderly, you have developed that wisdom. He developed that wisdom. He never said anything. But my friend understood this, conflict of opinion, I would rather say. And one fine day, I was there present, and it so happened that I visited him, and we were having this coffee, and then this guy walks up into the office, and he says, like, I cannot explain to sir what is going wrong. because he's like, he doesn't understand. Now my friend said like, Vikas, sit down, let's have a cup of coffee, and let me tell you one thing. See, what I learned, what you learned in the chartered accountant institutions and so on, these are all bookish things. Just understand the thing from my perspective. Who's hiring whom? Who's paying whom? My father has done this business with his knowledge, with his hard work, and with his experience gained in the real life. And he has been running this business so successfully that he, in spite of not being even a graduate, has hired you, who is a CA and a CS, in such a big position. So who's paying whom? Now that is the point which you need to remember. Like, when you are experienced enough, when you are in a market with your wisdom, with your knowledge, with your experience, you are in better position to hire more educated people to take your business to a higher goal. But the vision, the mission that the founder or the director has seen, an employee takes a long time to see. So thankfully, because this guy we are talking about understood the picture, and then he said, sir, I'm so sorry and thank you for showing me this. I will take every initiative to learn what sir, senior sir knows, and I will try to learn everything that he does for the business, and I'm very sure that I will grow within this organization in a better way. And I'll tell you, this guy has been with this, Vikas has been with this organization past 12 years, and which is a very good time. So guys, whenever you are joining a new organization, please remember a couple of points that I discussed today, and I can ensure a continuous growth in whatever career you choose. With that note, today I sign off from this morning vibe session, wishing you all the best. Take care of your health, stay safe, and have a wonderful weekend.